Many thanks for staying tuned to the Front Burners. We're going to talk about food safety right now. It is important to ensure that the food we consume, the drinks we consume, are wholesome, because what gets into the mouth, if it's unhealthy for you, sometimes those who have been victims never have the opportunity to tell the story. A sad one that is, but some do live to tell the story, but it's ended up being a very painful experience, and some had to live with organ damage for the rest of your lives because the drugs, the food and drinks they at one point or consistently consumed for a period of time wasn't wholesome. Hence, we've brought in someone who will talk about food safety in Nigeria and in Africa. Now, there's a story as well, a report released recently of NAFDAC, which is the National Agency for Food and Drug Control, shutting down 11,000 shops in Abia because they were dealing in fake drugs, unwholesome food and drinks. Now, if in one area you had 11,000 shops shut down because they were dealing on unwholesome drugs, food and drinks, imagine if a nationwide raid is done. What will happen? How many shops would you see being closed? Who are those behind unwholesome food, drugs, and of course, drinks? Do they do it intentionally? Is it possible to be someone in the food business and ignorantly you are contaminating food that is to be consumed? Let's have Rasaq Oke, who is the CEO of FoodDotComAcademy, talk to us today about food safety. It's great to have you here after a very long time. Last time you were on the station happened to be about a year ago. Yep. Okay. It's great to see you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be
now,
here.
Yes, it's good to have an expert talk about issues like this. Yeah. Now, let's look at food safety in Nigeria. I need you to react first to the report of NAFDAC closing down 11,000 shops for dealing in fake drugs, unwholesome food and drinks. Okay. Does that worry you that 11,000 shops just in one area?
It's a worrisome situation, and it's not something that is just happening today. It's only because maybe the news men, let's even say the investigative journalists, are now bringing their attention to that. It's a worrisome situation, and few days ago, precisely last Monday, I have cause to call the monitoring and unit of NAFDAC because somebody called my attention to the fact that an area in Ikorodu, they are producing fake Pepsi. They gave me the location, they gave me everything. So now I even have to have somebody to go and help me too. So I have to call them. But immediately I called the unit. They were ready to go there. And we are planning before the end of this week. You know, one has to be careful too. You know, when you are dropping some of this information, you have to cover your own back so that information will not get to the wrong hand and people say these are the people that are saying it. But people like us, we believe that if you see something, say something. Because today you might believe this thing might not affect you, might not affect your children, might not affect your family. But this thing goes around. Ultimately, it will still affect you. The money the government is going to use to solve some other infrastructure, they will still spend it on this health thing. So it's a worrisome thing. It's happening everywhere. I'm not speaking for NAFDAC, like you just mentioned. I have cause to ask them at one time that even how many are their staff? Can they cover the entire country? So unless all of us see ourselves as regulatory and compliance officer, so that when you see anything going wrong, you speak out. It has gotten to a situation where when I come to your place or I come to a party, you want to give me wine, I won't take it. They say I know the source. Because if there's something that is the easiest to fake these days, it is those things, both the non-alcoholic and the alcoholic drinks. Even some people are just You move around. I'm a grassroots person that move around. You see people where people are just cooking water, they are just getting from the tap, and they will seal everything. And they will do all these things within 2 a.m., 4 a.m. By 5, the vehicles are already going out, and they are moving interland, where people are less, they are going to bother less about NAFDAC number, less about whether this thing certified with, goes along with SON, MANCAP procedure. So it's a worrisome thing, and it's good that virtually people are talking about it now. Because when you see a small kid, you want to buy gala, the first thing they will tell you, are you sure this thing has not expired? You understand? So, but maybe because of the poverty level in the country, people are after quality, after quantity and not quality. You tell them this is how much they are selling this. They are not interested, but they just want to consume some things. So, that's why some cases you see some people buying the sachet water, and you see some particles, you see some worms inside. You now begin to wonder, how did this thing get inside? So, just like I rightly said, when you see something, say something.
All right, now let's get into...
Sorry, I wanted to find out, interacting with people who have been involved in this kind of business, what do you think is really the motivation for people to get into this kind of illicit behavior and trade?
They just want to make fast and quick money. They don't care about other people's health. That is just the bottom line. They just want to make money. They don't care about. So, gone are the days when you want to identify a gap. This is why you go into the business. But nowadays, people go into that kind of illicit trade because they want to maximize profit. If you go to most of these organizations that are producing some of these non-alcoholic drinks, you see what they are doing. You see the safety measures, the regulatory standards, the compliance measures. But all these ones, they check everything. Their line, the production line, and they have a roster where they are going to clean their equipment, they are going to clean. But all this one, they will just do it. Because it appears, some people will be saying, what are the regulatory authorities, what are they doing? They are doing the little they are doing. Lagos alone is so big. Few years ago, there was an area where they were telling me that where they were producing fake wine. Just last week, somebody was calling me, they are still doing it again in that kind of area. You understand? Are we saying we don't have law enforcement agencies?
Yeah, but looking at what you just said, I'm still thinking the motivation. A lot of people have argued that the fact that a product don't have a NAFDAC number or a standard organization number make it fake. One. Number two, the process of even getting the NAFDAC does not encourage people who are informal to be able to really assess it. Now, what role does the bureaucracy of getting NAFDAC number and standard organization certification plays in all of all this?
Okay. Now, gone are the days when you want to set up a food processing plant. They will expect you to have 5 different rooms. Production, storage, the convenience, the staff changing room, almost 5. So people are finding it difficult, especially the SMEs. And during the last regime, and Professor Oshibanjo was one that headed that committee on how to ease business situation. So NAFDAC has simplified it. So it's only that people doesn't want to go through that route. You can get a NAFDAC number for your product, especially the SME. You know, you have the nano, the micro, you have the small. If you have a business where you are going to employ about 2 staff, and you are going to be doing potato chips or plantain chips, it's easier for you to get NAFDAC number. I know what I'm saying. If we're in one room, it's easier. It's only because people don't want to go it. NAFDAC has done it in such a way. You don't even need to go through a NAFDAC certified consultant. The present DG has erased them. They have cancelled them. You can do it. Even they simplify that. Even in a room, the utensils you want to use to produce all these little ones, I'm talking of these plantain chips and all this one, your own kitchen in the house, you can use it to get it. But the equipment you are going to be using to do all those ones has to be separated, labeled separately from what you are using for your normal cooking. So NAFDAC will come. They will come and check it. They will tell you some of those things you need to do. You need to have SOP, standard operating procedure. These are the steps. So they are simplifying it, that when you buy the potato, this is how you are going to clean it. This is the step. So that even when you are not there, some of your staff will be able to do it. So it's only people who doesn't want to do that. That's why they are trying to cut corners. It's easier for you to get your product registered with NAFDAC now. It's easier for you to get your product registered with SON.
How affordable?
Very cheap, sir. Very cheap. Because number one, the greatest challenge people had then was, I want to have my pure water business planned. You need to get a consultant. Unfortunately, some of these consultants you are talking about, some of them now they don't even have anything to do with food. I've gone to a place, and when I went to go and meet the CEO, I said, I want to register something. And the CEO was telling me, what's my background? I said, I'm a food scientist. He said, you are the one that needed this thing now. I said, how do you mean? He said, I'm a chartered accountant, and I employ 4 of the food technologists to come and be doing my business. So, and then when you want to register as a consultant with NAFDAC, you get the form, you pay some money. Form then was 10,000. You pay another 50,000. You pay another 200,000 for 4 weeks training before you become a certified thing. And for a consultant, you go to Ikorodu, you help them to get a NAFDAC number for one thing. You collected 450,000. You get to another place. Within 1 year, you can do that for about 10 companies. You are in money. And you have to recoup whatever you are spending. But now, you don't need, for SME, you don't need the service of a consultant to get your work. When you get to NAFDAC, I told you the NAFDAC Lagos State office, walk in there, tell them you want to register. They are there. They will tell you, they will simplify everything for you. They will tell you the document you need to get because you have to register your business name. They need to trademark this thing. All these things, it's a ridiculous amount. Whatever support you need. But people doesn't want to, even some people will get to that gate, they will still be looking for a tout.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, first of all, I don't know. I'm trying to ask all my questions in one. Hopefully we don't have the time. But I need you to give me a rough market estimation, because Nigeria is known as an economy that has this, this taste for foreign products. The taste for Nigerians for foreign products is out of this world. What could be driving that taste? Is it because we do not have a system where we have a very regulated system to produce the quality of this product that meets even the standard of NAFDAC? And we're hearing stories of how we're having foods that are unhealthy to consume because they're not going through the standard procedure for production. And that's why we have turned all our attention to foreign produce. Can you give us, I need to answer that question, and also I need you to tell us what the kind of harm that is doing it to our economy, money-wise.
Okay. Number one, I've had cause to follow some of this agency of Lagos State Ministry of Agri to Imota, where they are doing their rice. We have eco rice. You see where they are getting the paddy. You see how they are processing it, how they bag it. They see eco rice. But because of our mentality, the foreign thing, people want to buy a rice that they say, this one is polished. Polished rice. Even when you are even talking about the polished thing, the nutrient has already been washed away. And that's why people like us will still prefer our own ofada rice, because the nutrient are still there. And that's why we even tell you that when you want to cook your rice, you don't need to wash. By the time you say you want to wash, you are washing away the nutrients. Based on Nigerians, when they want to see the bag, the label, they see a polished rice, polished rice. So not until we change our own mindset to say we can consume our own product here. We can consume what I know, how this thing was planted. We know some of those people that will go to the farm to ensure that even the pesticide you use to fumigate that area is under control. You understand? Than for me to now say I'm waiting for the imported rice, I don't know whether it has expired. The number of 2 or 3 weeks I spent on the sea. And when it gets to the warehouse here, people will still baggage it. There are some areas I don't want to mention here that in Lagos, people know them for rice when it comes to rice. So, and when this rice come here, people will see the baggage because some people want the imported names, the imported brands. They will go and produce those bags and they will now rebrand it because that's what people want. But when you ask them, why are you doing this? Okay, this is what people want. It is the name. People want this brand. Whereas our local one is still thriving. So it's causing a lot of harm to our economy. Because number one, those ones that even borrow money, the anchor program, they borrow money to produce this rice. After some time, they will find it difficult to repay the loan that will have gone back and some people to access it. Then if they have a couple of staff, they will start laying them off. After some time, now 3, 4, 5 years, you heard that this one has shut down. Will now be looking for another business. They will try to look for cut corners. So we are trying to let people know that you don't need to cut corners. Face this, let people know you. What we are producing is quality. After some time, people will go for it.
All right, so you are the CEO of FoodDotComAcademy.
Yes.
So what does that mean? Is it that you train people how to grow crops, how to prepare food, how to deal in food business? Because earlier I asked the question of contamination. Some persons do not mean to contaminate the food that they sell. But somehow, with the way they store the food, even with the way they handle, they contaminate. If you go to the popular markets, open markets, the way you find people handle vegetable, they place them right on the ground. And they tell you how when you get to your house, you wash the vegetables. So it's like the duty of making that food wholesome rests on the end user or the consumer who's going to buy the food at the end of the day. But you who's dealing on it, what's your role? What do you do exactly?
Okay.
Regarding
FoodDotComAcademy is a food entrepreneurship training center. Excuse me. Now we support people with requisite trainings that if you want to go into food business, this and this are what you need to know. Like if you are telling me that I want to go into producing of some of these SME products, I will tell you the first thing is to get your product certified by NAFDAC before you go on. Number one, and I will tell you the procedure. Because if you start it, you can be selling your groundnut around your area. People like it. You can be selling your plantain chips around your area. People might like it. But immediately some people said, I need this thing. And I've been to some of these big brands, supermarket, I can't see it. If that thing find their way there, NAFDAC surveillance team will go there. They see anything that is not NAFDAC, they will confiscate it. So it's a loss. Where you supply, maybe the agreement is within 14 days, we are going to pay you. NAFDAC will confiscate it. They will destroy it. And the brand image to those organizations too is another thing. But I want to come from this end. You said something about, I'm coming from the food safety measures. You know, all those practices, procedure, protocols we want to put in place so that people will not consume unsafe and unwholesome food. We educate people. I belong to an association where we visit the local markets to go and talk to them. By June 6th, we'll be having World Food Safety Day. And I found that most of the structured food establishments, these fast consumer moving goods, they have standardized their operation. When I was coming from CMS now, people that want to get to their offices, they have already branched out those mama put that they want to eat. You understand? And those women, what they are doing is not intentional. I have to quickly say this. But some of us that have the knowledge on food safety measures, we are far away from them. If you want to eat in an eatery now, what they are doing is regulated. There is a time, there is a process when NAFDA will visit them. Some other, we have Safety Commission, we have Lagos State Council. We have a lot of agencies that will visit them. But all these other ones, they are unregulated. So what we take it upon ourselves to educate them. The ugu you are talking about, they have to wash it. Even the chopping board they are using, if you are lucky, they have chopping board to cut it. Do you know whether they wash it? Which detergent did they use to wash it? The knife they are using to cut it, they are using to chop it. Do they wash it? Do they rinse it? You understand? We have vinegar water the people use to. So you branch at that man selling meat using the same chopping table. When it closes, if you have time to go there, you see them using soda, you see their brush, and that thing will be going deep into this thing. Contamination here and there. And they will come the following day, just pour water on it, and they start the process again. Another day. The local government people, food inspectors, they don't have time to go there. Unfortunately, what most of these people are doing is the revenue collection, you have to pay this and. So, from our own hand, from FoodDotComAcademy, we join some other CSOs to organize trainings. We visit markets. We have been to many markets. I remember during the period when we have some of this outbreak, you see them, the mama Iloni that is selling Ebamala, you go there, you say, we want to eat. The same pot that everybody is using to, that's what they are using. 3 people will come at the same time, they will just carry the plate, they will just dip it in and they will put the Amala. So I went to the mama, I said, Mama, this thing is not good. Why don't you separate the pocket you are using to from the one you are using to rinse it and allow it to drain for some minutes? He said, okay, mommy, I'll do it. Even some of us, we want to wash our hand with some of these things. There are some of these liquid soap that is not injurious to others, so we can use it. He said, people don't ask for it. I said, some of us that are putting on tie, we want to eat it. We don't want to enter it, we want to eat here. Because we still like our own local mala, local already, we want to buy it. So I said, put it. Unfortunately, I didn't go there the 2nd or 3rd day. When I went there the 5th day, I found out that the woman has bought some liquid soap, put it. He said, Mommy, I bought it since that day. But you can see it, people are not using it. I said some of us, when we see it, we'll use it. Some people, they will prefer to sit down here to eat when they see this thing. The woman started put it. Another day, you know, when you are eating, you see some crumbs on the tables here and there in their places. And you see ants moving up and down. And I said, Mama, why don't you buy a nylon? We put it on this table. I'm not saying you should buy all these big ones. Just put a nylon there. So that as people, when another one finishes and they want to pack it, some of your list, they use something to clean up than the little crumbs that the hands. And when the another day, the woman has put it there. We don't have the knowledge. Like I'm saying, we are far away from them. When you go to where they are selling, you see all this malam. At times, me, I'm one of those ones that when you want to correct, you correct it love. I can't just go to where malam that spend money to buy some of these. I've been media partner to them in my 12th international market. So I know these people. So they bought this thing, and somebody now said, there's a food safety infraction. You destroy everything. That's not solving it. We let them know why they don't need to use detergent to wash oranges. Because by the time they dip it, they've already put all this brand of detergent, and they are now using the sponge to, you know, this thing will be going deep into the. The abuki doesn't know.
And it is detrimental to health.
He doesn't know. He just want to sell. And they want to sell on the open place. So why are you destroying it? So why don't you try to gather them, educate them, for them to know the knowledge? So if you need to get people that can speak Hausa fluently, they can let them know. And you find out that when you talk to them, they listen.
Yeah, but is there a role the government can play? Because when you go to other climes, you see that the way people sell some of these agricultural products, they are well packaged inside nylon, and they are done in supermarket. that rather than allowing food vendors on the street, that we can actually make people to come to be off-takers from this farmer directly, so that these things, carrot, cucumber, watermelon, can be sold in a decent environment, that you don't have to deal with a lot of ants and flies. We also see a lot of blackmail in terms of the way governments do their operations, that people, you see in the evening like this, you go to major bus stops, you're seeing people selling mints along the road, and then of course you see government agents come and they say, oh, this is the people's economy, you have not provided them with job and they're trying to survive, why will you go and harass them from even staying, apart from constitutional nuisance for traffic, that even that place is unhealthy for people to eat.
Yeah, I agree with you, but the issue is this. In the local government, we believe that local government people are closer to. In each of the local government, we have health inspectors, the former Wole, and there are many. Those ones that put on the white thing. The question is, what do they do? Do they visit the market? How often do they visit the market? During the government of Governor Ambody, when they were having the Food Security Summit in 2016, I was there, and I asked him, he said he wanted to set up another body, that food safety marshals. And I remember I was one that asked question that, you know, when you set up KAI, this is the objective, and they derail. When you set up last month, this is the objective, and when you set up this body again, are you sure they are going to do what we asked them to do? You know, there's one thing for you to just set up these bodies, there's another thing to who supervise what they are doing. You understand? The interesting thing is, when you go to those markets and you say you want to have food safety programs with them, and you see the way the Babaloja, Yaloja will have somebody to carry the gun, the bear, to gather them. Because they said if you don't gather here in the next 30 minutes, we are going to find you, or we can even stop you from selling here. All of them will leave whatever they are doing together. You understand? Can government gather them together to organize food safety programs? Okay. We are not saying we should not force government to do some things, but when you let them know, education is key. When you let them know the dangers in what they are doing, even selling along the road, I've asked to call, I wanted to pass, people are selling, and I told them, madam, I want to pass on the walkway, and they are telling me, should be funny. People have been passing here, and they never complain. You understand? I said, but this is walkway now. He said, so, and I have some of this kick against this listener. And I called them. And the way I used to, the message I just said, Oga, I want to pass here, and people block it. And I said they should allow us, this is walkway. And they are telling me that, showed me funny, we are paying government officials. Even Kai collect money from us. They said, who said that? I said, the woman is still here. And they quickly call one or two people to come and meet me. I said, describe your location. You know, the normal thing is they destroy everything they see around there. Who said we are collecting money? Who said they are giving us something? Because I just want to. And ever since, even when they see me coming, people will be saluting me. You understand? So when you see something that is going wrong, you need to talk. You need to speak out. You understand? But the issue is, this one doesn't concern me. Let me just go my way.
So what I want to ask is FoodDotCom, right? Recently, we have been seen as a country who exports non-agricultural produce out of the country, and it seems to be gathering momentum where revenue is really coming into the country. Does the organization do a consulting for that purpose? And how do you think the work is going through that line?
No, our organization doesn't do anything that have to do with export.
Okay.
But where I see deviation in some things, I call the attention of NAFDAC, I call the attention of SON. Recently, I supported one of my colleagues that opened a pure water business in Ibadan to get the NAFDAC thing. So, and a friend too came from abroad. He was telling me that he too has this thing. He was packaging Gary and some of these things. And he was telling me, he said he has been selling this thing a lot in most of the supermarkets in UK. I said, is your product certified by NAFDAC? He said, no. I said, well, how did you pass here? How did you pass through the airport? How did you to get your product down there? He said, leave that one. You understand? So He said he's only concerned that he wants to sell his product here in Nigeria and he need NAFDAC. But to get it outside the country, that one is not it. You now start asking questions. How did they get this product? Where some people are complaining that some of the pesticides they use to fumigate some of these things, even beans, when they get there, it's different because it doesn't meet up with their standard outside the country. But how does this thing
Go out.
go out? So we are not, mine is to call the attention of the relevant people to say this and this are. But having said that, majorly apart from doing some trainings for the established organization from the quality, safety, total quality safety management stuff, we still engage with the grassroots people. Because I found out that if there is going to be incidents of foodborne illness, outbreak of foodborne illness, it will consume large number of. When NAFDAC are concerned with the regulated ones, some of us can still focus our attention on the informal food market. Sir, you said something about when you go outside. Last year on this street food safety thing, I was invited for a program in Nairobi, Kenya. African Union, they are trying to have a framework guideline for informal food sector when it comes to food safety. And I think about 2 years, the African head of state, they gathered to set it up. But you know the bureaucracy of setting this thing, when they eventually have the framework, who are those ones that are going to deal directly with this informal food sector? Then you now see people in the top echelon hijacking some of these things when we are supposed to take the training down to those people that really need it. So we are doing our bit in our own little way. And annually, I normally organize the Business of Food Forum. And some of the fallout of the one we had last year was the restaurant people were saying, why don't you have a dedicated one? So this year we are having Restaurant Managers Conference where the DG of NAFDAC is coming to come and talk to people on importance of food safety that we started with and how people can comply with all the relevant regulations. And when you look at, let me take Lagos State alone, we have more than 5 bodies that will visit your outlet saying this, doing the same thing. So you now start looking at it. When you say people are trying to cut corners too, when you look at the duplicity of some of these agencies, this one will come and want to come and inspect your facility. This one will come and want to come and invest your facility. About 7 agencies coming to come and inspect your facility is the same thing, but you pay.
Yeah, but again, from the punitive aspect to the corrective regime, looking at it, that when government set up things and the way we enforce law in this environment, is that what is at the head of the people who are writing this law is say, how much more money can government further make from this agency? You see them, who are, whether they are people directing traffic, hiding on one corner to see who is going to break the rule so that we can have income, rather than actually telling people, this is not where you should pass. Now, you find that in almost all agencies of government, that almost what they are out for is how to generate revenue, really not how to correct behaviors. How do we deal with this issue? Because it also affects food safety. And that incident you just mentioned, and I think it's something that's very correct, because when you see where, for example, all the abattoirs in Lagos, you go around it and you see how unhygienic the environments are, and yet these people visit these places and they still allow operations to continue, and without really having to be concerned about the health of the general public. But of course, somehow, either somebody is settled at the back or government has received its revenue, and therefore these people must just practice.
Yes, you are right. Let me take the abattoir we are talking about. I've traveled wide, and when you want to, I go to a lot of abattoirs. When you want to see what they do, you go there very early in the morning. You go there around 5, and they won't allow you to enter. So instead you just say maybe the Oga says you should come on. So that's the only way you will see some, the stream that pass the back of. That's why they wash the carcass, yes. Formerly, some of these abattoirs, they have refrigerated cool rooms, you understand? So that they keep, even when the one they couldn't sell in the day, they keep it there. But what do you have found around? But I know government is doing something on it. Then we have seen occasion where they want people get overnight to make it look fresh. People will gather fresh blood from the fresh, they will pour it on top of it to look fresh.
That's more contamination.
Oh,
That
boy.
is, you understand? So, and I have cause to ask the veterinary doctors in one state. He said, Mr. Rasaq, why are you stressing yourself? How many veterinary doctors do you have that the state government employed that will move around to ensure that the standard is before you even kill a cow, a vet doctor has to certify that.
The animal has health.
Yes, yes. Now, you know, some of the, a lot is happening. So God will help us. Even the way you drive the cow to the abattoir before you slaughter will determine the quality of the glycogen you are going to get from it. But you see them, let me use an example from Ikorodu. You see from Sabo, the Aboki is driving about 10 cows, running, the day they will run to that abattoir at after General Hospital. You have to really disturb the nobody to certify it, because by 3-4, they've already slaughtered more than enough. So, and the vet doctor will be coming, maybe some of them will return in their office before coming to the abattoir. So what do you expect? So just like I said, it's an ongoing thing. Ours is to support the government, to educate the people. Where government error, we call them to attention, because you still have to be careful the way you pass the information across to them so that you are not going to be blacklisted.
All right, on a
We are
final
doing
note,
a lot in Lagos.
you talked about providing support for food entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So we find in the markets, the open markets is where you find a large number of people who deal on food produce or food products. So if you're providing support for them, what kind of support are you providing? I know you talked about education. Does it end there? What about the market infrastructure? The abattoirs now that are washing cows that have been slaughtered with water from the stream, if they had borehole water, would they do that?
Yeah. There was some time we educate, we support in our own little way. You understand? Now, it's for the government. Call their attention. There's another market. Let me quickly. There's another market in Lagos. There is no water. Even when people want to ease themselves, the convenience doesn't have water. So people would have to travel far. They will pay to get one bath that they will use to, which is never enough. So ours is to call the attention of government, especially now that food safety day is around the corner. Because when you want to pass the message, make sure it's very close to that time when government is ready to spend a lot of money for that kind of advocacy. So that you now call the attention that this place, so they don't have a refrigerated cold room. Can you do it? Can you get some bodies, some other organization that can come, maybe it's build, operate and transfer, and they will make their money. You understand? It's possible. You can get some, there are some people that have this cooling van. We find that most things, when government do it, it doesn't last. People use it anyhow. Maybe you can bring some people to come and be, so that when they kill the cow at abattoir in Abuja, to move it to Lagos Island, you know, the condition when it's inside the cooling van is going to be. But at times when you see some people, when they put the fresh meat on top of their leg,
on
top
bike.
of the bike to the abattoir, but you are not there and you don't even know. Yours is let me go to the so a lot of things is happening.
Sometimes it's not even hidden. You see them.
But somebody is supposed to stop
Yeah,
it.
to stop them. Yeah,
They even do that. It's not as if it's in rural areas. Within urban areas, you see people move meat. You see people move food items in a manner that you know this has already been contaminated.
And suppose some people have that confidence. When they talk about the illness, the outbreak that happened last year in Lagos, right from these people that are selling this
cholera outbreak.
That tiger nut. Recently, I see maybe because of our background, when I see, I want to correct. I saw a lady selling, you know, these people that are selling cold tea.
Okay.
You understand? And you see the way they will be using their hand to grind it, and before they will pour inside the. And I've been watching her, and I saw a lot of people. So when I found out that the crowd have already reduced, and I went to her, I said, Madam, do you know I want to drink this thing? I said, how much? I said, no, it's not a matter of that. I said, because you are using your hand to
turn it.
You didn't wash your hand. I didn't see you sweeping your hand inside. You didn't wash it. And I want to drink it, but I can't. He said, what do I do? I said, why don't you go and get hand glove? I said, you don't need to use what they are using in the factory. You can buy all these transparent ones. I said, put it on. Put it on. Then use it to turn. Because you'll be surprised the number of food I want to buy from. And as well, another 2 people, they came to come, I have to keep quiet. You understand? So I don't want to for her business. She only said, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I said, but if I come here tomorrow and you didn't use it, I will confiscate this thing and I will call police too. He said, no problem, sir. I didn't go there the second day. I went there the 3rd day. But this lady put this thing on.
Yeah, but again, that just work on my hair right now. The hygiene consciousness.
Yes.
What role is the education sector actually contributing to some of all these things? Because we don't see really hygiene taught, table manners taught in our schools really, to educate people to say, this is how we can eat and this is what is qualified to be eaten. Is there any attempt also to reach out to educational institutions, especially at the basic level, to incorporate or integrate these teachings in their curriculum?
Well, it's possible. But what I've seen around is some of us will go to some of these primary schools. We let them know that even if one of the best way you can prevent some of these foodborne diseases is ordinarily washing your hand with clean and warm water. If you see soap, fine. But if you don't see it, make sure, especially before you eat, you let these little children know that you have to. But how many of these public schools are you going to see a running tap? You understand? So even when you are passing the message, that's where it ends. But we are only praying we get some bodies that will be able to support, so that when you advise some of these schools, you tell them, can you help us to install this? You understand? Because number one, I always tell people, wash your hand before you enter. You understand? Especially before you enter the loo, you tell these little children, and you see them, they will be struggling, all of them. Even they might want to enter the convenience 10 times because they just want to, you know. But I like that enthusiasm in them, that this I should wash my hand. I've seen one that was telling the dad when I went to their house. The daddy said I should go to their school. And I went there and I talked to them. When I wanted to eat, he said, Daddy, you have not washed your hand. He said, Damilari, are you all right? He said that you said we should wash our hands.
In my rural school, as a young boy, we have a plastic bowl.
That everybody washes.
There's a stool that is there, and the bowl is there, and every time you come in from the outside, you have to wash your hand.
But you all wash your hand inside that same bowl.
Yeah,
so we are contaminating each other.
But at least those provisions were made, even when there were no real water. But today, really, you don't see that in the environment.
The thing is that
some of those measures that were put in place during the COVID.
Who will be fetching the water to bring it? Except during COVID. Now COVID is over. They've thrown away the bowl plus the.
So can we go back to that thing? All those preventive
measures
measures
too, they can also be provided so that they change the water from time to time.
You understand?
But basically, I think it's the responsibility rests on local governments, number one. That's their core duty. To provide infrastructure, these amenities at the rural areas, at the grassroots, so that schools will not be looking for a bowl to bring water. In daughter's time, they were conscious because they were taught, social studies and all, how to have your environment clean and how to ensure that you have these things. Now we even have subjects that have replaced some of those, that we're now teaching things that are not duplicating subjects, rather than teaching what will emphasize some of these things. And sometimes it's even hard to do. What about when to get water? Maybe in that particular area, you don't even have a borehole. So who brings the water from home? It becomes a problem. Now, when the students or the pupils want to use the restroom, is there water? Sometimes you find that there's a heap of refuse all around, flies perching. In the market, they pay money for sanitation, but you always find a heap of refuse around markets, and we should not have that.
Let me call your attention to that. There was a time, you know, when on Thursday, because of the environmental, on Wednesday, the market people, they will ensure that they remove something from the drainage, they put it on. You understand? They will put it on by the roadside, and that thing, if nobody will pack it, when another thought there. So I saw one very close to that, my 12th international market, and they just put nylon on top of those dirty thing, and you can see people beside with flies pressing around you. They were selling raw meat, raw meat and so and I went there and I said, sir, it's wrong for you to be selling, even when you are selling on top of refuse. That's what I can see here. Because for you to be, he said, but can't you see we have used nylon to cover it? I said, what about all these flies that press on this thing that move around and they will still come to your this and they can travel far? And I said, they didn't want to listen to me. You understand? I went to under the bridge and I saw the guy people, because kick against in this building. It's not only when people cross the road. Okay. It's still part, all these things are still part of it.
Discipline.
So when I said, I saw some people doing this thing and I talked to them, they said, am I Kai? I said, I'm not Kai, but I'm a concerned citizen. This time I don't want to call the chairman of my 12th international. It's something that, and people are selling fresh tomato all around the whole place. So they didn't want to. And I called them, that one has to carry phone. He said you want to call somebody. I called somebody from the Ministry of Environment, the Food Safety Unit. I said, I'm here, and this is what is happening. They said, can you take a shot? Which shot do you want me to take when people can gather and finish the
take the phone.
You understand?
Hand, yeah.
I said, but I'm telling you, what can we do? It's at that time I have to call someone. This is what is happening here. And you said, when we see some things, they say, are you still there? Yes, and they call me. And they ask some of these people to call. The next thing, at least they carry all the meat, they carry everything. At least almost 200 meters to all those things they are saying. They carry everything. If they table, they destroy the tables and everything. I said, it doesn't end there. But what happened? This thing you gather here, come and evacuate it. Is it going to evacuate it now? We have the drainage people in Lagos. So what is happening?
All right,
So
we wish we have more
happening.
time to talk about this because it's very important and a different aspect of it. But the basic thing is that those who have responsibilities should live up to it. If you are a local government chairman, in the local government there are different departments. There's a department in charge of environment, in charge of health, and many other things. You should be alive to your responsibilities. It's one thing to tell the people, do not handle food with in places that are unwholesome. It's another thing for the government to create an enabling environment that is favorable for food processing, food storage, and all kinds of food business. Thank you so much, Rasaq Oke, who is the CEO of FoodDotComAcademy Services.
It's a pleasure.
Now it goes over to you. When you buy the food, how do you handle in your home before you end up consuming it? You should take responsibility too to ensure that you thoroughly process your food before you consume. I know there's a popular saying that disease doesn't kill an African man. Well, I'll tell you that diseases do not discriminate. You do not know who's white, you do not know who's black. Once any of them is able to get into your system, at that point, it'll just be a thing of you and God alone. If you survive, maybe you can tell the story, but let's not allow it get to that part. We'll take a break, return on Policy Discuss.